Recently on the Wayspotters podcast, you heard Mr. Chris say...
Anything that gets you kind of maybe off the beaten path. Makes you go somewhere that you normally wouldn't. And that's the whole point of the whole database, is to get you to go look at places. Go explore and interact with your community that you in a way that you might not know before, right? Hello, agents, trainers, keepers, pilots, eighth ballers, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders. Welcome to episode 146 of the Wayspotters podcast.
You heard Mr. Chris say...
Anything Welcome to episode 146 of the Wayspotters podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you become a better wayfinder. Wayspotters is brought to you by the good people of the Pokemon Professor Network. Today is Friday, November 1st. It's November. Holy jeez. With me, as always, is Jamal. How's it going, man?
Aside from technical difficulties and forgetting to click a button, I'm doing good, man.
Awesome. It happens.
Yeah.
How was your Halloween, man?
Halloween was good. You know what's funny about Halloween? So one kid went one place, the other kid went another place. So my wife went with Addison, I went with Avery, and you came up. So the parent that I was with listens to the show. They know nothing about Pokemon. They know nothing about Wayspotters, but they listen to the show to support us and listen for the dad jokes. She asked me, does Chris celebrate Halloween? Do they have Halloween in Canada? And I'm like, yes, of course. And then I'm thinking, do they? I'm like, yeah. So yeah, Halloween was good. How was yours?
Yeah, I took the day off so I could go out with the twins and my wife.
Nice.
The older ones don't really do it anymore. Corey wanted to, but he's in high school, but he wasn't feeling well yesterday. He left school early, so they didn't go out. But we took the twins out, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. I saw the pictures. Yeah, that was cool.
Yes.
That was cool. Yeah.
Funny enough, we were talking about you last night. And I was like, I don't know, because I know your kids are a little bit older, right? So I don't know. I wasn't sure kind of what that dynamic was. So now that I know that you went with one and your wife went with the other, that makes sense.
So Addison's 15, and she told me last night when we got home that this was her last year trick-or-treating. She says, I'm hanging it up. This is it. I'm done. And I'm like, but you're only 15. She's like, Dad, you can't be 16 and trick-or-treating. And I'm thinking, I was like 18 and trick-or-treating back in my day. Yep. But she said this is her last year. She said, next year she'll stay home and hand out candy or do something with her friends. But I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's you get to that age, right? And I said to my wife, and I'm like, there's only a couple years left that the twins are going to want us to go with them, right? So
right. Yeah.
We have to take advantage of it while we can.
Sure do.
Give me 1 second.
So, you know what's funny about this episode, Chris? And those people who are paying attention, like Matty G, our show historian, people who are paying attention are going to know and laugh when they find out that you are going to talk about benches again, and now you're not.
Yes. We had a whole plan for this week, and then we've kind of had to punt it again. So on that note, let's jump into the news, and then we'll get into the new topic.
And now, the latest Niantic news from the Wayspotters podcast, presented by the Pokemon Professor Network.
I'm sad. I'm very sad.
Yeah.
Yep. Niantic Wayfarer app for Android will no longer be available as of November 4th, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time.
I
put in the notes, pause so Chris can cry. So let's just have a moment of silence. All right, that's good enough. Early access to Scaniverse for developers on Android will be available starting November 11th, 2024. Apparently, there's some changes to the Android software development kit that are necessitating them shutting down the Wayfarer app before the full version of the Scaniverse app is ready for Android. So there's kind of like a week gap in there.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I'm going to take this moment to petition Niantic and the Wayfarer team, and more the Ingress team, to put nearby Wayspots on the nomination map when you're nominating an Ingress.
Well, also, not just that, but if you're nominating from home, make it so it's dynamic. Because if I'm sitting at home and nominating and I'm trying to nominate it at the park, it will only show what's near right where the original snapshot. So it needs to be dynamic. So put that in your petition, sir.
Yes, absolutely. And that's something that I mentioned to the Wayfarer team when we were in New York last time we talked to them. But that's one of those things that it's the Wayfarer team's like, this is a fantastic idea. You got to get the Pogo team to do it for them, right? So
they're like, we're with you. We can't do it, but we're with you.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just sad, right?
Yeah. It's an all-around sad kind of news thing for you today, which isn't normal. So normally it's like good stuff, but our brothers and sisters who are Android users, like, man.
Yep. Also, in happy news, the Wayfarer Challenge details were finally announced. But let's not stand on ceremony and let's just jump into topic number 1.
This is Sarah Amanda. Get ready for topic number 1.
Okay, so Wayfarer, this is a big one. Like they're actually letting us have some time with this one instead of it being like 6 days. I know it's only 6 days because sometimes they drop a challenge and it's over before we record again. So, it's nice we've got some time to breathe with this one. The challenge kicked off on the 30th at noon PST. So we're already a few days into it by the time you're listening to this. The challenge ends November 13th, 2024 at 12 p.m. Pacific. So you've got like 2 full weeks to get in there. And they're going to distribute the rewards typically the 13th to the 29th. You'll probably get them closer to the 29th than the 13th.
Yes.
So,
right.
Like the Wayfarer stuff, like the upgrades. I don't even know if there's we'll get into the things in a second.
Yeah, we'll get into the details here.
There's no upgrades.
No, there's no upgrades. I was looking for that. I was like, did they miss that? Did they miss it? Did they miss it? No, there's no upgrades.
I think they've realized that upgrades aren't the carrot. Anyway,
right.
We'll get into the rewards right now.
Right. We're like jumping way ahead.
We're jumping way ahead. So there's 3 sets of rewards for this challenge, which is super cool.
Oh wait, Chris, can I take you off schedule for just a hot second? I meant to bring this up when we talked about Halloween. I want to show you the best Halloween candy ever invented right there. Hot take. Hot take. All right. For those of you who are listening on audio, I held up a bag of Branch's candy corn. Best Halloween candy ever. Continue, please.
We could have a whole hour-long discussion on all of the ways that you are wrong. But we'll move on.
All right. You like how I placed that right here where you were getting serious, so you didn't that was strategic.
I bet it was. You didn't forget at all. All right, so let's go through the first set of rewards. So there's global rewards, Emily rewards, and then personal contribution rewards. And then I want to have a discussion about what this challenge means and how I have concerns about this challenge. So I'll do the Pogo rewards. How about you do the Ingress rewards?
Sure. So, yep, that works for me.
This challenge is edits. So it's going to be edits submitted during the challenge. 45,000 edits submitted by the community. For Pogo, you get 50 Ultra Balls, 5 Star Pieces, 5 Incense, 5 Puffin, 1 Lucky Egg, and 1 Super Incubator.
And for Ingress, level 25 or higher, 8 Resonators, 25 level 8 XMPs, 25 level 8 Power Cubes, 3 rare Shields, 3 rare Heat Sinks, and 3 rare Multi-Hacks.
Then, Tier 2, at 90,000 edits submitted, you get 75 Ultra Balls, 6 Star Pieces, 6 Incense, 5 Puffin, 3 Lucky Egg, and 3 Super Incubators.
And for Ingress, level 30, 8 Resonators, 30 level 8 XMPs, 30 level 8 power cubes, 6 rare shields, 6 heat sinks, and 6 rare multi-hacks.
And finally, the third tier at 145,000 edits submitted, 75 Ultra Balls, 50 Great Balls, 7 Star Pieces, 7 Incense, 6 Poffin, 5 Lucky Egg, and 5 Super Incubators.
And for Ingress, finally, 30 level 8 Resonators, 30 level 8 XMP, 30 level 8 Power Cubes, 8 rare shields, 8 heat sinks, 8 rare multi-hacks, and 1 kinetic capsule.
That's pretty good.
Those Ingress rewards are really good. Like,
Yes.
I'd rather
Yeah.
have the Ingress rewards than the Pogo rewards.
Yeah, no kidding. That'll lead into kind of what we want to talk about later. But yeah, I think the community rewards are pretty good. I think those targets are hittable. Here's the thing: we don't know. We don't know because it's always been reviews. It's been reviews.
Right. We've never done this before.
We've never done.
Yeah,
something
we'll
like
get
this.
into it when we start talking about our discussion. But I have some. I believe I have similar concerns to you. I'm pretty sure I've got a couple of different concerns, but I have concerns. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Second set of rewards are edits. So Emily rewards. These are edits that were submitted during the challenge. So if you have an edit that you submitted before the challenge that Emily approves after the challenge, that won't count. It's only edits submitted during the challenge. 8,000 Emily approved edits is a rare candy for Pogo, and it's a fracker for Ingress. It's 16,000 Emily approved edits. It's 3 rare candies or 3 frackers, and 3 frackers. At 24,000 Emily approved edits, it's 5 rare candy and 5 frackers. I'm going to be completely honest. I have no idea what a fracker does in Ingress, so I can't. I don't know if this is equal or not.
All right. So I won't get into the specifics of a fracker, but here's what I'll do. In order to be a good podcast teammate, if you want to know what a fracker is, go over and listen to the Ingress Insights podcast with Pokemon Trainer Jay. He talks about frackers and all the things there. If you are a hardcore Ingress player, you want to know what it is. So go listen to Pokemon Trainer Jay, find him on socials, and he will break down frackers for you. I could tell you, but I know what they do, but it's hard to describe, but do that.
Fair enough.
Can I say one thing here, Chris? Can I say one thing here? I love how Niantic leaned into Emily and put it in there. Like, it's forever cemented now. Like, Emily is Emily now.
Yep. Done. I did made that correlation, but now that you've mentioned it, yeah, this is fantastic.
Yep.
I love it.
It's in there. All right. So the personal contribution rewards, I'll read these. So these are edits submitted during the challenge. So 50 edits submitted. For Pokemon, it's 1 incubator. And for Ingress, it's 1 rare kinetic capsule. Pretty on level. 100 edits submitted in Pokemon Go. It's 1 super incubator. And for Ingress, it's 2 kinetic capsules. And finally, 150 edits submitted in Pokemon Go. It's 2 super incubators. And in Ingress, it's 3 rare kinetic capsule. And here's the kicker, Chris. 1 OPR live badge tick. That's what everybody who's playing Ingress is going to be going for, is that badge tick. That is worth me finding 150 edits is to get that badge tick.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Huge.
For
That's
sure.
Huge. Because just the way my life runs, I kind of plan my year around GoFest. Like, we don't do any summer vacations around GoFest, so I go to GoFest, but I don't make it out to any Ingress events. Like, I've one Ingress event, and that was kind of the COVID virtual one, but I'm probably not traveling for Ingress. So to be able to get an Ingress live badge tick by doing a Wayfarer challenge is massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people love that badge tick because, like, you're right. It's one of those badges that you have to go to a live event to get, and to be able to get one without having to go to a live event, that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and I think. All right, we'll get there in a second. someone asked if they were going to increase the number of edits that we were going to be able to do. Initially, they said no.
Right.
However, they reset mine at some point between 5 and 10 o'clock on the first day. I did like 10 edits, and then all of a sudden I looked in and it was back at 40. So I'm like, this is weird. People were having trouble. There's a lot of people on the forum. Someone created a thread. A lot of people on the forum went in and were just like, I've done 15 edits and now I can't do it anymore. I should have 40.
Yep.
I did 15. Now I'm at 0. What gives? I don't know what happened, but the Ingress team or the Wayfarer team kind of looked into it. They did some background stuff. They said, while we're looking into it, don't be surprised if your contributions just reset to 40 randomly while we try and figure out what the problem is. So people were just like, all right, going ham with their edits, right? They announced that they've updated the accruals for the duration of the challenge after the first day was a bit bumpy. Someone did the math and they're just like, I don't know that people are going to hit 150. Like mathematically, I don't know that you can.
I saw that. I saw the breakdown of that.
I did the math. I'm like, your math's a little wonky. It doesn't. You're missing photos and location edits, right? So like it was possible, but it would have been very, very difficult for people to hit this.
Put a pin and look.
Didn't have.
Don't
have Ingress and Pogo. Like I got 80, right? But if you don't have 80, then this has been really, really difficult. And you're hamstringing people who don't play both of your games, right? Which is not as inclusive as I think they need to be. So, title and edits, you're going to get 10 back a day. Photo edits, you're going to get 5 back a day. And location edits, you're going to get 5 back a day.
That's an interesting compromise there. I need to see it in action. So I'm in the 40s right now. I haven't counted. So because there's no counter with this, there's no real good way unless you're manually tracking it or keeping a spreadsheet to know how many you've done. I'm just looking at my emails. And I want to say I was talking to, as we record this show on Friday, I was talking to Aquablast64 on Discord. And I believe the last time I looked, I was at 45. So I'm at 45. It's the last time I counted. I was at 45. So given that today's the 1st of November and we have, a while to go, I'll probably hit the 150. I'm definitely going to hit the 150 because I want the badge tick, but I'll wait till we get into concerns about this before I go into the next thing. So I'll let you continue.
Hold on. I'm counting real quick. 20. Okay. I'm at 21.
21. Okay.
I did like 6 or 7 of them this morning. And I did a bunch from work through Ingress, but I was just kind of sitting there. So I'll get to 150. I had the strangest one get denied. Did you see the one I posted in Discord today? I did.
It was not. It was in our secret channel. It was the entrance to the Greenway, and it had no description. And I put a description in, and it got denied. And I'm like, huh?
It's weird. Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Isn't that weird? Yeah,
I've had a couple like that. Emily's just like, no, I'd rather have nothing. Like, really?
Yeah.
Is that bad? That's the ones that you kind of like. I would love to have an extra appeal for that one because that is clearly Emily had a glitch and was like,
I'm not going to use an appeal on that. Like, I got bigger fish to fry than that. So I don't know.
That's the problem with the appeal system, right? Not to get too off topic, but Emily's going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Yeah. With these, right? So she's probably going to reject some that are fine, right? Like yours. So it would be nice to be able to say, hey, this is an Emily rejection. And we've talked about this before, right? This is an Emily rejection. I would like to be able to appeal that one outside of the regular appeal process that I have.
Correct.
Right? Something that's that egregious. I wonder if there's a way that we could set Niantic up, or they could set it up so that's like if it was no description and then you submitted a description and Emily rejected it, like the team should be reviewing that.
Yes.
Like before,
They should.
and I know that they can do this. Before Emily hits the button, she should be like, okay, hey, just pull this one for in Niantic review. I had a couple of my descriptions go into Niantic review recently.
So did I.
There's a fountain in Dundas Square in Toronto that I'm almost positive two people were fighting over, trying to get their name on the fountain because it was just random, two just random edits. Like it was called something.
Right.
Somebody was trying to change it to something. They both look like names. I'm like, both of them are wrong. So I submitted the correct title, and it went into Niantic voting last night, and they approved it this morning. So hopefully they don't try and fight over it again. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? But like, I know that they pull stuff that Emily does into Niantic review to kind
for
of
sure. Yeah.
audit the stuff that she's doing, which is exactly what they should be doing.
Quality control, for sure.
Yes, exactly. Quality control. So I think that if it's got no description and you're submitting a description in the end, Emily is like, no, this is bad, they should be pulling those for review. Because there's a reason that Emily is thinking that no description is better than your description.
Right.
And the only way that I think that that's a thing is if there's something abusive in that description, and there wasn't anything abusive in your description, so I don't know.
My description, it wasn't even a Jamal description. It was very succinct and to the point. It was like, enter the greenway here and start your journey to exercise or something along those lines. It was very nondescript, very non-threatening. It was all like, yeah, I don't know.
Yep. So my concerns, I have a couple.
Okay.
I'm concerned that this is going to end up in some of the busier areas with 7 description edits for the same thing, right? Just edits that don't really need to happen.
Yes.
Niantic's big on not moving Wayspots if their pin position is fine, right? Like they consider that abuse, but like at what point do you draw the line on a description edit being superfluous? Like just doing an edit for the sake of doing an edit. And I
feel where a lot of people are doing that now.
Yes.
They're like, I need these edits, so I'm just going to edit things. So I'm just scrolling through the comms and I'm looking and going, oh, I don't really like that description. Let me change it. Let me do this. Let me do that. And I think the original intent of the challenge was to go out in the community while you're playing Pokemon Go, while you're playing Ingress, and go, oh, here's something that needs to be updated. And I think what a lot of people are doing is just sitting at home, scrolling the comms and doing it. And that was not the goal of the challenge.
Right. And you heard in the drop at the beginning of the show, this system is designed to get people out and exploring, where I think a lot of Ingress players are sitting and exploring other people's actions to try and find Wayspots that need edits. And it's kind of counterintuitive to what this program is designed to do.
Yes. Now, normally we plan out everything on the show. That drop was kind of a last minute thing, but it worked.
Yes, it worked. It did work.
It worked.
It
totally worked.
It's somebody on the forum was like, they posted an edit and it was just they capitalized a couple of words and then like I feel dirty.
I saw that. Yeah, it was something. It was something mural, and the mural was lowercase, and they made it uppercase. Yeah, I saw this. Like, I feel dirty.
Someone replied like, no. Now you got to think long term. Like once that's approved, then you replace that title or that description with mural painted by artist. And then I wanted to reply. I'm like, no. You got to go even further. Now when that's approved, now you replace it with beautiful mural painted by. Right. So now you get 3 edits out of the same Wayspot. Not that I'm condoning you should do that. You should not do that. Do not do that.
Don't do it. We're wagging fingers. We're wagging fingers.
I'm looking at you, YouTube. But this is the kind of thing that I'm worried about, right? I'm worried about also how is Emily going to handle 6 edits, right? At the same time. Like if 6 different people put in edits in the same kind of time frame. Because Ingress players are just scouting the comms, right?
Yes. Well, the other thing I thought of, what if people go and try to change my descriptions, like my funny descriptions? Like, leave it alone. I wish I got notified, like, some of the little funny things I put in there. Like, someone's probably going to go, oh, we're just going to change this to church. No. So I think there's going to be a lot of unnecessary things. So I don't know if you're ready to talk about it yet, Chris, but one of my concerns is the location edits. I worry about this, and I'm personally probably not going to do any location edits. I don't do a whole lot of location edits as it is, but especially I fear, please, if you're out there and you're listening to this, don't just move stuff because you need an edit. Like the ladder and everything out there is still in force. Like, don't just, Chris used a very big word, superfluous. Don't just move stuff to move stuff. Like, please don't. Like, hear the caution in my voice, because if you're doing that and it's considered abuse, you're going to get punished on the ladder. But I feel that people are going to, especially in the last few days, Chris, people are going to be like, oh my God, I need 20 more things. Let me just move this 10 meters or 5 meters over here. And like, man, don't do that. So that's one of my concerns. I have a couple other concerns, but that's my big concern.
Yeah, I actually hadn't even considered that one, but that's a really good point, right? Because like I said earlier, Niantic considers that abuse. And if you're moving a gazebo 8 feet from one side of a gazebo to the other side of a gazebo just to get an edit in, because you're out of text edits and you're out of photo edits and you need a location edit, you do it enough, Niantic's going to smack your wrist, right?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
People are going to cry, oh, you set us up for failure. No, that's not what this is, right? Like, you don't.
Right. The other rules still apply.
Yeah, the rules still apply.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that's I hadn't even considered that one.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned that this is skewed towards Ingress players. Right?
Yes.
Because you can't remote edit in Pogo at all. The OPR live badge is something that Ingress players fawn over. Like, you'll froth at the mouth when they're just like, oh, I can get a tick for this. Absolutely. I am.
And there's no badge you can get in Pogo.
And there's no equivalent in Pogo, right? And they really could, because they have Safari as zones. They have Go Fest.
Yeah.
They have in-person events all over the place that people fly to, right? They could have a in-person Pogo event badge. I don't know what you would call it, but
Pogo Live.
People would love it, right?
Yeah. I think you're right. I've been scanning the comms, and you can't do that in Pokemon. You cannot do that in Pokemon. You have to be in the field. But see, remember, if anybody who's listened to this show more than one time know, I don't do anything in Pokemon. I do all my stuff. I do my nominations. I do everything in Ingress. So I didn't even think about that until you said it, because I would never think to edit something in Pokemon. I do it all in Ingress. But now that you said that, if you are a Pokemon Go trainer only, you are at a historic disadvantage, because not only do you have less edits, you can't edit remotely. Wow. It's big. I did not even think about that till just now.
Yep. It's and also you get AP for your approved photos in Ingress too, right? So you don't get that.
I love it. I'm trying to recurse again. I'm trying to recurse for the second time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm trying to recurse again for the second time. Oh, that 500 AP doesn't seem like a lot, but when you do a lot of photo edits, all of a sudden you're getting 10,000 AP. You're like, heck yeah, man, bring it on. Let's go.
I'm still stuck at level 10 in Ingress.
Realistically, that's all you need to be. If you're not a big Ingress guy, you're good. Like, it's cool to recurse, but like nothing really happens. Like, you just go back to 0 and start over, but you keep all your badges and you keep all your gear, but that's about it. So I don't know. It's more of I like my wings, so that's it.
I want to get there. I'm 800,000 AP over what I need for level 10. Level 11. I need badges. That's my problem. I need badges.
Oh, so will the OPR live tick, will that help you?
It would no.
Okay.
I need one more gold badge, and that would get me to 3, which is silver. So I'm
Gotcha.
getting there.
Okay.
I need to do my streaks is what I need to do. I need to actually remember to do my streaks.
Yep.
Anyway, that's the other thing, right? Like you can't. You're right. You're at a historic advantage if you only play Pogo, and getting to the level where you need to edit in Ingress isn't hard, but it's a grind, right? And it's daunting.
Everything about Ingress is a grind.
Everything about Ingress is a grind, yes. And I think that's what puts off a lot of people from Ingress. Is just like, I don't want to do this every single day to get where I need to be if I can just do it in Pogo. So people don't, right? And then now you come into a situation where, it would have been really helpful had you done this, which is why I finally put my nose down and did it a couple years ago. I'm just like, I can't. I'm tired of listening to Jamal talk about how he's got 80 nominations. I want my 80 nominations, goddammit. So
I want them.
And it paid off that one time I went to that one tournament and I used like 60 nominations.
Yep.
So it helped. It was good. I liked it.
And it's not only extra 40 nominations, it's the additional 15 kilometers. That's huge.
Yeah.
Being able to nominate 25 kilometers away from the POI.
Yep.
That's invaluable. So that pretty much puts. Okay, let me preface this. That pretty much puts all the city folk, which in touch with everything in their city. Now, if you're rural, you got all kind of challenges, and I love you for it. But like me in Charlotte, 25 kilometers, I can pretty much reach all sides of the city except for the suburbs. But the city proper is in play.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, right. And we'll talk about supporting photos in a minute and nominating from home, but it's just so much easier in Ingress. Yeah. It's just so much easier in Ingress. And
it is.
Being able to remote edit it's huge, especially for this.
So, for sure. I love it.
Pokemon Trainer Jay mentioned it in our chat in the Discord, and I was like, I glad you mentioned that because I had already had it on my list of things to talk about because absolutely right. It's definitely skewed towards Ingress players. You said you had other concerns?
So my other concerns are kind of like Wayfarer vandalism, and I kind of touched on it a little bit. One of the things that if you go in and do an edit in Ingress and you just pull it up and you hit OK, Ingress will give you an error saying your description suggestion is too similar to the one that's currently in there.
Interesting.
But if you go in and change a couple words, it'll take it. So what I hope people aren't going to do is just add in superfluous letters at the beginning or the end just to get a tick. And they actually do something that's going to further the game along. I did it just to see if it could be done, and you could. I put what did I put? It was a library description. And it had a really good description of a library, and I put dash on North Cross Road, and it took it. I just kept the same thing and just put it on North Cross Road. Now, in this situation, it wasn't abuse because the library faces the main road, but the actual entrance is on North Cross Road, so it made sense. But I just wanted to see if you could just add something at the beginning or the end, and it would take it, and it did. And I'm like, ooh. That could be potentially bad. Like, we don't want any Wayfarer vandalism. So that's my other concern is that people are going to try to hit the number, and then 10, 15, 20 days down the road, they're going to get an educational email or something saying you broke the rules, and then it's going to kind of put a sour taste in their mouth moving forward. So that's my only other concern.
Yeah. I mean, that's a real good concern. I think that there's the definite potential for people for just doing stuff just for the sake of doing stuff, right? People who want to contribute and like, I don't normally do edits. I've never even considered doing edits. I'm just going to go and edit literally everything.
Right.
Just so I can, right? I'm going to find the first 40 Pokestops and put a period at the end of every sentence or put a comma in, or change the word and to an ampersand. So I'm not fundamentally contributing to the Wayspot. I'm just aesthetically contributing to the way. And for certain things, yes, I understand. Like I've done a couple where I've just capitalized the letters in the title just so it looks better. But like,
and you felt dirty.
You're a little bit. Yep. Felt dirty. It was stuff I was going to do anyway. And it's stuff that something like that, like changing it. That's the way your title should be. They should all be, every word should be capitalized, right? Or the first letter of every word should be capitalized. Fixing grammar mistakes, I'm okay with that. But like rearranging a sentence just to move a couple of words,
right?
But not actually change what the description, that this feels dirty to me, right? Like I've done a couple where I actually was doing, while I was waiting for you to be ready, I was doing one and I spent 15 minutes trying to find the artist for a mural because the description hadn't credited it. It took me 15 minutes, but I finally found it. And I'm like, okay, this is something that I feel good about. Right. Now that artist's name is going to be on the description for this mural. So that's the kind of things that I think we should be encouraging people to do. Fundamentally changing Wayspots for the better, contributing to the light ship map in a way that's helpful, in the way that's going to enlighten other people, right? Not just changing edits and making descriptions just for the sake of making descriptions, right? Like,
correct. Yes.
People to pump the brakes a little bit.
I couldn't agree with you more.
So I think this is good. I think this is a good challenge. I'm interested to see just how many edits the community is able to get through. Like 145,000 doesn't seem like a lot, but it also seems like they just kind of pulled those numbers out of thin air.
Let me do some quick math.
This is the nomination. I think the tiers from the last challenge was 45,000, 90,000, 145,000, right? So
I did some quick math. 145,000 divided by 150, you would have to have 300 people do 150 to get 145,000.
Oh, we'll do that. Oh, for sure.
Right? So 300 times 150 is 45,000.
That's done. Yeah, we can do that.
Now let's see. 145,000 divided by 150 is hold on. 145,000 divided by 150. So essentially, you need 1,000 people. So 966 people to do 150 each. And if you get 966 people to do 150 each, that's your 140,000. So
yeah, that's doable.
There's more than 1,000 explorers, but not everybody's going to do it. So you probably need 4,000 or 5,000 people to get 1,000 people, maybe even more than that. I don't know, but it's doable. I'm probably going to do 200 myself if I can. I mean, I'm at 50 right now, so I've got, a week and a half to do more. So if I can, figure it out, I'll do it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I'll probably hit about 200-ish myself. So you'll have people who do over the 150 to make up for the people who don't do 150. But I think with that math, that's doable. It's achievable.
It's not bad.
There's no ticker.
Yeah.
There's no counter. They said that wasn't feasible for this challenge, but they're looking for it for future challenges, which means they're planning on doing this again, which is kind of cool. There's no counter plugin. So the only way that you can track your personal progress is through your contributions page.
Yep.
I just made a little
or your emails. Or your emails.
Yeah. Yep. Just that's a good idea. You know what? Just put all your emails in like a separate folder in whatever email thing you're just for the challenge, right? And then you can kind of quickly mark them all on red, and then you'll be able to quickly figure out how many that you've got, right? So I'm looking forward to getting out there this weekend and burning through all of my edits, because I have about 140 that I want to get through.
Yeah, nice.
So, and that's just local to me. So, fingers crossed we get there. I think we will. If you got anything else, then we'll jump into topic number 2.
All right, here we go.
Hi, it's Lil Pound Cake. Don't forget about topic number 2.
Never forget about topic number 2. Sometimes we punt topic number 2, but we never forget about it.
We don't. Yeah, that's right.
Real quick, because we kind of went long with that, I wanted to give you sir, some props.
Yes.
Because I think that you've created the thread of the year.
Oh, wow.
It is November, and I think I can say it, that you've created the thread of the year with your supporting photo thread that you created. I accidentally closed it, so give me a second to find it. You posted on the forum giving a friend of the show, Agent X, some props for one of his supporting photos that he shared with us. And it sparked a very lively discussion.
It did, didn't it?
And I wanted to talk about it. I can't even, there it is. You even made the Wayfarer email, the recap email.
I saw that.
So
I tagged Agent X. I was like, hey, look at this. Yeah. We're in the big time.
That was pretty cool. So you said, thanks to the great and distinguished Agent X for designing this photo. This is a perfect example, in my humble opinion, of a supporting photo. Now I realize all of your specific situations might not have a street sign in it, but you get the idea. Use the terrain and landscape to paint a picture for the reviewer. If you're reading this, I'm rooting for you, which is chef's kiss. Beautiful post. This is a beautiful supporting photo. Let me pull it up for our YouTube folks. So just to describe this real quick, it is the submitted object was the park sign, and the supporting photo has the intersection street sign in it. It's got a clear view of the sidewalk in it, and he drew some circles and some arrows and put some words in there, like edited the photo to kind of point out of the stuff that he had put in his supporting photo, right? So a few people, myself included, shared some of theirs, highlighting the objects that they put in the supporting photo to kind of help locate their submitted object, right? And someone, and I can't believe nobody had thought of this before, Alice Wonder 1511 says, hi, I have a question on this topic. Do you think that supporting photos like this couldn't be misused for abuse, influencing reviewers, maybe the style of arrows? You can't find anywhere that the supporting photo is excluded in the photo rules. So Cindy Pooh had a great response. I'm not going to read all of it, but she's like, it doesn't say that you can't do this.
Right.
And I had never considered editing the supporting photo to have arrows and circles. Like, I had never even considered that at all. And it's absolutely brilliant. It is a brilliant idea they had by accident. Right.
That's why Agent X needs to be an ambassador next year, for that reason right there.
Absolutely.
100%.
So then you tagged Niantic Aaron and we're like, hey,
yeah, I did.
What are your thoughts on this? And pretty quickly, he got back to you pretty quick.
He did.
Interesting topics. I don't see any issues with using such supporting images. These can indeed help reviewers. And I was just like, mind blown. This is such a good idea, especially when you're using, and we just did a whole episode on supporting photos.
We did.
Right?
We did.
I don't want to do it overkill, but I felt like we needed to talk about this.
And shout out to Traxy25 for bringing this up to us again, on the need to educate people on supporting photos, because they've been really bad lately. So so thank you, Traxy, for bringing this top of mind. We're happy to do this. So, Chris, thank you for the kudos on that. This could be like the new, remember the footbridge thing with Niantic Casey a few years ago? And that kind of changed the way people did things. Maybe this will be the same. So I don't know, but continue.
Yep. I hope so, because I wanted to get this out there. And Niantic also replied to the possibility that you could use this to influence reviewers. And they said, definitely a possibility. These can be used to identify the submitter, but also so can the supporting text. So if you're going to do it you're going to do it in the supporting text anyway, right? So, and if you have concerns about somebody using it, then report it. Simple as that.
Yep.
But there's some real good examples of some really good supporting photos in here. And I love this your comment. You're gonna make me dance on a cloud. So
Yeah.
I posted the GIF of he says, "Oh, do I need to get a telescope?" Just kidding. No, it's like, so I replied to him and I posted a GIF of Carlton dancing.
Yes.
He goes, "Cool moves. I did not need a telescope after all." And this is what my day. He says, "On a serious note, we appreciate what you're doing. More power to you." So it's a passion.
Well, also,
people.
He had another message for you. Also, he says, "That's very noble of him. Let him
Yes.
know that I wish him well and willing to do whatever I can to help." And that was from Niantic
Yes.
Aaron. So it's cool when. This is why the Wayfarer team is the best of Niantic. Like no other game, Niantic game, are you getting someone from Niantic jumping in and saying, "Hey, this is going to make things better." Like I love it. So thank you, Niantic Aaron, if you're listening.
No, for sure, absolutely. Big kudos to you. Big shout out for you. Thank you for getting back to Jamal so quickly on that. I think that saying that, kind of confirming that this is kind of acceptable, opens up a whole new kind of way for people to help reviewers distinguish themselves and distinguish their nomination by saying, "Hey, I'm going to draw a circle around the nomination, and then I'm going to point out other things in the background that I'm going to help you. I'm going to do all of the work for you," which, as somebody who reviews probably 50, 60 things a day, thank you. If you can do most of my work for me.
Yes,
love you.
absolutely. Because the last thing that I want someone doing is spending time on my nomination, looking at the Google car and doing this. That means I failed. That means I did not do something well enough for you.
Absolutely. 100%. So I wanted to give you a shout out and give Niantic Aaron a shout out and kind of throw that out there saying, hey, if you're, and this is the one thing, like I mentioned earlier, this is so much easier if you're able to nominate in Ingress, because then you can go home, you can do this, and then you can upload that photo to your phone, and then you can nominate remotely, right? Whereas if you're in Pogo, you've kind of got to do that work. If you want to do that work, you got to do it on your phone, which is not overly difficult, but it's a pain, right? So,
and depending on where you are in the world, what time of year it is, it's not as advantageous to do a lot of that stuff in the field with the glare, the rain, the snow, weather, whatever it is. So,
yeah, 100%, absolutely. There's definitely times that I blow through a nomination because it's 30 below and the wind chill feels like it's 50 below, and I'm just like, I don't want to be out here anymore.
And then the description is
yeah, exactly. And I've had a couple of things actually get approved like that, and I'm just like, ooh, that's bad.
Now you can go and edit those.
Yes, and now I can go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, let's jump into Tales from Canada. I got a good one this week.
All right.
Get ready to explore Canada's history through the diverse experiences and perspectives of the real people who live them. Every other week, Chris will take you oot and a boot through a fun segment we call Tales from Canada. So grab your double-double, make sure you have all your loonies and toonies, and get ready to hang a Larry. It's time for Tales from Canada.
All right, let me pull this up real quick. This one was on my list of things to talk about for this, but you tagged me on this one, so I figured, you know what? Let's do it this way.
Right. I saw this. I'm like, this has got Chris written all over it.
In 2005, an advertising agency called Rethink in Vancouver, British Columbia, was tasked with creating an advertising campaign for 3M and their security glass. So they took $3 million in cash, actual physical real cash, put it in a glass wall at a bus shelter in Vancouver, and then left it completely unattended. They just left it there with the 3M logo. It said security glass on it, and then they had the phone number of the local 3M office where you can go order this stuff. They pointed a camera at it, and they left it. And the footage that they got from people trying to break into this thing was absolutely hilarious. They kicked it. They threw things at it. They got construction workers to try and hit it with sledgehammers. people like tried to get this $3 million, and they even said, if you can get it out, you can take it.
You can keep it. Yeah,
you can keep it. Nobody ever got in. Nobody broke in. That was nothing. Like they could not get in. Like it was.
That is the greatest advertisement for a company that I've seen in a long time.
It was so funny. And it was, so they estimate that it got $1 million worth of free marketing.
Wow.
For this, whatever they paid for this advertising campaign.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was on the news. The National Post, one of our national newspapers, took it a whole full page spread on it about the story.
Wow.
Like they never paid. So here's the thing. They never put it in the paper. They never put it on TV. Like they didn't make commercials out of this. They didn't take any billboard advertisements. They just put the money in the glass thing and then left it. And it literally went viral, like the true aspect of viral. Yeah. Yep. And so news companies like the news was contacting the agency, but hey, you have this camera. Can you send us some of the footage for our news report? That's how people found out what was going on. That's how people found out that people were trying to break into this thing by kicking it. And they didn't put it in a commercial like they could have, but they didn't have to. The news was doing it for them.
That's so good. That's great. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And I remember this because it wasn't that long ago, 20 years ago, but I remember this. It was just one of the funniest ad campaigns that wasn't really an ad campaign. They just put money in a bus shelter and walked away.
And the news turned it into an ad campaign for them.
Exactly.
They didn't have to spend any money. Yeah.
Yeah. So whoever came up with that campaign is absolutely brilliant.
There's some ad man that like made his career off of this. And I'm sure colleges in Canada, they're like doing master's theses on this, like the best way to do some ad campaign. That's brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant.
For sure. All right, let's take a break. Play some dad jokes, and then we'll come back with Wayspot of the Week and Call of the Week.
Are you serious? This again? It's season 3.
What did the pig say on a hot day? I'm bacon. What do clouds wear beneath their pants? Thunderwear. What happened to the guy who lit his fire in his boat to keep warm? He learned you can't have your kayak and heat it too. What did the cannibal choose as his last meal? 5 Guys. What did the sink tell the toilet? Dude, you look flushed. Here's a question. What would happen if you threw all the books in the world into the ocean? I'm not really sure, but I'm going to guess that it would cause a tidal wave. Why can't a leopard ever hide? Because he's always spotted.
And welcome back to the Wayspotters. Hope you enjoyed the dad jokes this week. We're going to jump into Wayspot of the Week.
Let's take a look at a beautiful example of what the Wayspotters podcast thinks you should be nominating. We proudly present the Wayspot of the Week.
All right, Wayspot of the Week. I'll take the first one. You can have the second one. Okay. This is from Testone in the Pokemon Professor Network Discord. This is it's a, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 story mural. We always say that we love our 2-story murals, but this is a 6-story mural. It's called Sacred Spray's Indigenous Mural. And the description is Truth and Reconciliation Day encourages reflection, learning, and action towards healing the historical injustices faced by First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities. Take a moment to reflect and engage in the journey toward reconciliation with this local artwork. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, massive mural.
I don't even know what to say about this. This is beautiful. That took some time, effort, and planning to put that together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so down the left-hand side, there's a flower at the top. And then the flower stem is yellow and it's got a bunch of petals on it, and it's growing out of a pot that's being held up by like a person. And this is all done in a traditional indigenous style.
First Nations, yeah.
First
for
Nation
sure.
style. In the middle is a giant eagle flying over a wolf. And then there's a very intricate design kind of going around it. And then and then the other side, there's the same flower with the petals and then being held out by a pot. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
It
Gorgeous
is.
mural.
It's you got to go to our socials, or you got to go watch the YouTube to see it. It doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's beautiful.
Now, I remember Testone posted this on Indigenous Persons Day, Columbus Day, whatever you call it, to kind of bring light to Indigenous people and First Nations people. This is not something that I think a lot of people would traditionally associate with Canada. But I think the First Nations people in Canada, there's a lot to unpack there, and hopefully people will do this and go and look at the history of the First Nations people who were in Canada. They're not just in the desert Southwest area or the Midwest of the U.S., but there's a lot of First Nations in Canada as well.
There absolutely is. Yeah. And September 30th is Truth and Reconciliation Day in Canada. So it's a holiday here.
Nice.
Every year. Because we felt that Canada felt that like this is something that we need to bring light to, is kind of what European settlers have done and what we've done to Indigenous people over the years is not great. So this was born out of the residential schools up here. That it's a whole topic that I don't really want to get too deep into, but there's a lot of Indigenous kids lost their lives over the years, like thousands and thousands
terrible.
and thousands.
That's terrible.
And they were all buried at the school.
Wow.
And,
okay.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Google it.
I'm gonna have to Google that. Wow. Yeah.
It's a big thing, and they're still discovering bodies of kids buried in school that they were taken from their parents, and then
wow.
All right, let's move on to Wayspot of the Week number 2.
Hey, it's Little Pound Cake. The Wayspotters think you should be nominating more stuff like this.
And I agree with Little Pound Cake. So this one for Wayspot of the Week number 2 comes to us from is this from you, Chris? Is this yours?
This is mine, yes.
All right. Comes to us from Oshawa, Ontario. The Wayspot submission nomination is Wisdom by Shalon Phalian. And it is a electrical box that has been painted. So it's painted by Shalon Phalian as part of the Durham Regional STEPS ST Public Arts Program. This piece with the root-like dreadlocks and the patterns on her face resembling the rings of a tree evokes images of a mature woman with the wisdom of age, sturdy, strong, and firmly grounded in their roots. So it's exactly what it described. It's a picture of a woman who's kind of like she's looking up at the clouds, and the roots of the tree resemble her dreadlocks coming out of her headdress. And she's got kind of the weathered lines in her face that shows that she's got wisdom and she's been through some things. It goes hand in hand with the one that we had before. You kind of get the feeling that this can be a potential First Nations or Indigenous person kind of paying homage to something or someone. And it just invokes those feelings that you're looking at a wise person, and if they were to start talking, you'd listen to them.
Yeah, absolutely. This is right near the baseball diamonds where my son plays baseball, and I was running to the convenience store that's across the street there to get him some Gatorade one day, and I was like, wait a minute, this is amazing.
Yeah,
so
that's really good.
I've nominated about 6 of these electrical boxes so far, just in Oshawa, because they just recently did these, and not a single person has nominated any of them. So I went through, but this one was absolutely beautiful. So I wanted to kind of, you're right, it goes kind of hand in hand with the one that I have for.
Yeah, sure does.
It's almost like we plan these things.
I know, right? Almost. Who knew?
All right, let's jump into Cole of the Week.
I've been working on the Wayfarer all the live long day. I've been working on the Wayfarer just to pass the... Oh no. Hey, Jamal, I found some coal.
All right. Coal of the week comes to us from the I found this in the forum. So this is from user Shritwad, and it is Revival Trail Marker. And the description is a marker for the River Ivel Underground River Walking Trail. And they even said in this post, the main photo looks great, and it does look great.
It does.
It's
I'm looking at that. I'm like, how could that be coal of the week? That looks fantastic.
It does. It's a blue trail marker. It's a circle, and in the middle, it's got a little cartoon kind of tree-ish, and then at the bottom, it says Revival, which is great. It looks like a eligible trail marker.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the supporting photo. Uh-oh. I think we're starting to go off the tracks here. This is somebody has taken a longer shot of that trail marker and very poorly photoshopped it onto the yard in the front of their house. But
that is one of the worst
on the roadside. Yeah.
That's
they did it on the roadside of the sidewalk, so it's not private property technically. But like that is some bad Photoshop.
And then when you zoom into it, it's even worse. Oh my goodness. Like, even if that was real, that would be so out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow. Yeah. I really hope that this person was actioned upon, because that's pretty bad.
I absolutely hope so. They said A for chutzpah, F for technical ability.
Right.
And here's the thing, right? Like it's a trail marker in someone's front yard. Like that's not where the city's going to put a trail marker.
Right. Exactly.
It's not like it's yeah. So Niantic never. Oh, they did. Niantic LC, thanks for reporting it. We've escalated this to our dedicated support team. As soon as we have an update, we'll share with you. That was 7 days ago. They're probably not going to come back and update this thread, but
yeah.
Man,
somebody had some stones on that one. That's pretty brave. That's very very brave right there.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll put the link to that thread in the show notes so you can go and check it out for yourself if you feel so inclined. You got anything else?
I got nothing else, man. I got nothing else.
All right, cool. We're just over an hour, so let's get us signed off and get everybody back to their Sundays. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Wayspotters. We really appreciate it. A big thank you goes out to our executive producer, KatettheKonz, and our show historian, Maddie G, and to all of our Patreons. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode of Wayspotters, there are a few ways you can show us. Follow us on our socials. We're on X at Wayspotters. We are also on Instagram at Wayspotters Podcast and TikTok at I Make Wayspots. We are incredibly responsive and love interacting with our followers. Let us know what you thought about today's episode. You can also visit our website, www.wayspotters.com. From there, you can get links to everywhere you can download the show. You can also send us a message directly from the website or email us, wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. They've updated the shorts to be able to be 3 minutes, so I'm going to start doing the shorts again. It was just too difficult to get them down into a minute, so we're going to be doing the shorts again very, very shortly. YouTube.com/@Wayspotters Leave us a voicemail on our hotline, 704-426-3710. Or tweet us a voice message. You never know, your voicemail may appear on an upcoming episode of the show. We actually have an email that we need to read next week. I meant to put it in the notes this week, but I forgot. So I apologize to the emailer. We will get to it next week. Finally, if you're not a member of the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon, you can join for as little as $1 US a month. All you need to do is go to patreon.com/Pokemon Professor. You'll have access to the Discord for the entire family of shows across the Pokemon Professor Network, including Deep Breath, Wayspotters, Special Conditions, Gotta Watch Them All, Purified Podcast, Good Morning Johto, Sleep It Off, and Lured Up, and After Dark Eye. I forgot After Dark Eye. I got to put back in there. It's a fantastic place filled with fantastic people. Jamal and I are active in the Discord quite a bit. We get a lot of our show ideas from the Discord. So
yes, we do.
Love to have you. And with that, we look forward to you joining us again next week here on Wayspotters. We appreciate all the support we get each week. We could not do this without you. And remember, it's not that far. Get out of your car.